Testing. Hello guys, and welcome to another live LinkedIn Masterclass with me, Professor Heather Austin. Today, we are going to cover the 5-step system to build an all-star LinkedIn profile that increases your salary. So I know there's many of you from all across the globe here in the live chat with us today. Make sure you say hello. Make sure you let us know where you're joining us from today. We have so much to cover with you. And by the way, when I say we have so much to cover with you, we could have probably broken this down into a 3 or a 4 or a 5-day workshop. So you're definitely going to want to tune in. You're definitely going to want to take a lot of notes. Keep in mind, we have Catherine in the chat, who is my amazing team member. She is our in-house career coach, recruiter, resume writer, all that good stuff. She is going to be answering your questions. So we get a lot of questions during these live streams so that we can get through the content quickly. She will be in the chat answering questions. We'll also have time at the end to answer your questions. Plus, we're going to be doing live LinkedIn profile reviews, and I have a special offer for you at the very end for our exclusive career coaching program, World Class Career Academy. So you're definitely going to want to tune into that. Now, say hello in the chat. I know there were a lot of you that showed up early today. If you're watching this on a replay, say hello. Let us know where you're joining us from. I love seeing you guys here. I know we have a lot of people from all across the globe because I got emails from you guys. Hopefully you can all make it. I'm going to say hello to some of you in here. Miss Flower is here. So happy to see you. Jason, so happy that you could make it. There's a lot of names that I can't pronounce. So I apologize if I say your name wrong. Harold is here. Karen is here. Komal is here. Chris is here. Oh, so many of you guys. Jessica from LA. So happy to have you, Jessica. Brian says, my LinkedIn is horrible. Can't wait to begin. Okay. Do you guys have your LinkedIn profiles pulled up? Because what I'm going to share with you today are action steps that you can take right now and you can implement right now today and hopefully start getting calls and requests for better career opportunities tomorrow, okay? Now, keep in mind, we will have a replay of this event. The replay will only last a couple days. So if you don't get it all in today, make sure you come back, get the rest of it in tomorrow or whenever you can so that you can improve your LinkedIn profile to increase your salary. Okay, let's jump into the chat. Let's jump into the slide, you guys, because I have so much to share with you. And by the way, if you've ever been on a live stream of mine, you know that I ask a lot of questions. So be ready in the chat. I can see you guys all popping in and saying hello. Say hello to each other. Say hello to Catherine. She's going to be the one answering all of your questions. Also, be nice in the chat. She will boot you out of here if you do not have nice things to say. We are all connected and we are all here to learn about LinkedIn. So make sure you guys, you stay nice in the chat, which I know you will because my audience is fantastic. So here we go. The 5-step system to build an all-star LinkedIn profile that increases your salary. Now, if you have not already done so, tell me in the chat where you are joining us from today. And I also want to know, what is your biggest LinkedIn challenge? Now, I know a lot of you have already emailed me. We had hundreds and hundreds of emails for this event to tell me what your challenge is. But those that are here today, type into the chat, what is your biggest challenge? Now, as you guys are typing in LinkedIn, let me share a little bit about you about me, in case you guys don't know who I am. My name is Heather Austin. I'm a career strategy expert. I started my YouTube channel quite a while ago. I have a story to share with you. When I was 21 years old, I decided that I wanted to go to graduate school. I had a dream of completing my education and learning as much as I could so that I could become a thought leader or be someone that was recognized as an industry leader. Now, at the time, I didn't realize how hard it was to get accepted to graduate school. So if you've never heard this story before, I actually ended up taking the graduate admissions test 3 times. And here's the thing, I failed all 3 times, even after studying for the test for an entire year. Okay. Now, I was definitely not going to let that stop me, even though I had lots of tears and lots of frustration along the way. I walked into the program director's office with a brave face and I said, hey, look, I suck at test taking, but I'm not going to let this stop me. So we had a lengthy conversation about provisional admittance, my goals, my intentions, yada, yada, yada. And he ended up accepting me to the program. Now, the reason why I tell you this story is because I want you to know that anything's possible when it comes comes to your own dream career. Rejections, failed interviews, ghostings, all the crummy stuff that comes with job searching. But I want you to imagine for a second what it looks like in your dream career. And I want you to know that you can keep persisting, and that if you don't give up, amazing things can happen. So if I would have given up on my dream of going to graduate school when I was 21, and I would have let all those failed tests get to me, right? I would have never started a YouTube channel where we've reached over 15 million views. So we've been able to help hundreds of thousands of job seekers out here on the planet land their dream job. I would have never been invited to present at leadership events across the country. I would have never been invited to host podcasts or be on podcast interviews talking about my career content. Most recently, I would have never been invited to New York City by YouTube to learn how to become a better YouTuber to present content better for you. I would have never met this amazing gentleman, Neil deGrasse Tyson. If you don't know who he is, look him up. And I would have never met Mark Rober, who is my kids' ultimate hero. Okay. He's the most famous person they know, right? So I tell you guys this stuff because I want you to know that you deserve to be in a position where you're thriving, doing work you love, and making a difference in the world. Okay. Now, I want to share a couple success stories with you guys from people that visit my channel and have success just from watching content like this. So Tom wrote in and said, hey, I got the job thanks to your videos. He says, after I was hired, they told me that 50 applicants were narrowed down to 8. He said that my interview stood out by far and others weren't even close. Here's what Stacy said. She says, I binged watched your videos for the last few weeks and put together a bulletproof plan, which by the way, I'm going to give you guys a bulletproof plan today to get a new job during a crazy time, and it worked. She says, I got the job offer today that I really wanted. She says that she increased her salary by $15,000 more than what they were offering, okay? John wrote in and said, this video and your channel are the most helpful resources I have seen on YouTube for career and job preparation. I had an interview recently and I got the job. And CK says, I got hired. Thank you to all your guidance. My dream career is fully remote and has a huge impact on the community. I'm so happy. So you guys, this is what's possible right now for you if you do these few things for me right now. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb, close all your unnecessary tabs, grab a pencil and a pen and a notepad because you're definitely going to want to take notes. Remember, this event, we only hold this event twice a year. We also only have a couple day replay on this event. So Thursday, this event expires. Make sure you take really, really, really good notes, okay? And by the way, you guys, I actually am going to be sharing with you 3 word for word templates that you can use right now on LinkedIn. So you're definitely going to want to stick around for all that. And I have a special, very, very, very special bonus. So in addition to our special offer for World Class Career Academy, at the very end, if you stick around with us until the end, you can learn where to get a complimentary career portfolio edit, okay? So what that means, audit. So what that means is my team and I will review your resume, your cover letter, and your LinkedIn profile, and we'll tell you exactly what to do to make it better, okay? Now, with that in mind, let me know if this sounds like you, okay? You're not sure how to navigate LinkedIn or what to do with your account. Maybe LinkedIn seems very complex and you wish it was more user-friendly. Maybe you're uncertain how to make your LinkedIn profile better. You want to sell your skills, right, and your experience, but you're just uncomfortable writing about yourself. Or maybe you're just not sure who you should and shouldn't connect with. There's a lot of spam out there on LinkedIn, but now you're wondering, who should I connect with? And maybe these other people won't lead me in the right direction, right? You know that you want to make meaningful connections and you want them to be high quality, but you don't want all the spam. Now, in the chat, why are you here today? I'm going to ask you to give me a 1, a 2, or a 3. So type into the chat, why are you here today? Number 1, you want to find a new job. Number 2, you want to build a stronger network. Or is it number 3, you want to become a thought leader, okay? So enter 1, 2, or 3 in the chat. Now, here's the thing. You might want to have all 3 of these, and that's why you're here today. So enter 1, 2, and 3 in the chat. So in the chat, let me know 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to pop into the chat. Scott says, my biggest LinkedIn challenge is to explain why I've been out of work for the past 10 months. I was in Florida caring for my elderly father who had a medical crisis and just recently passed away. Oh, Scott, I'm so sorry to hear that. I lost my dad about 12 years ago, and I know how devastating that can be. Scott, we'll hopefully get to your question as we go throughout, or your biggest challenge as we go throughout this event. Okay, so type into the chat a 1, 2, or 3. I'm seeing a lot of ones. Looking for new jobs. I'm seeing a lot of 1, 2, and 3. So a lot of you guys are looking for all these things on here. That's awesome. We're going to cover each of these items as we go throughout today's presentation. And by the way, remember, we are going to be doing LinkedIn profile reviews at the end, and Catherine is here to answer your questions. So pop those in as we're going throughout today. Now, we have a lot to cover, so let me quickly share with you the framework or what we're going to cover today so you guys can have this on your radar. The first thing we're going to talk about is how to create a marketable LinkedIn profile, because number one, this is the very most important part, okay? This is even if you're making a career transition. We're also going to talk about how to write a standout about section that captures your strengths and achievements and tells your true career story, okay? We're going to then talk about how to build meaningful relationships. Okay, so a lot of you said that you're here to make a stronger network, right? We're going to talk about that. We're then going to talk about how to post engaging content that puts you at the forefront of your industry. So give me a yes in the chat if you've ever thought about becoming a thought leader in your industry, okay? And then number 5, we're also going to talk about how to get recruiters and hiring managers to come to you and finally stop getting ghosted, okay? So you guys, we are covering all 5 of these things. And by the way, this is going to be jam-packed. So I hope you guys are taking notes, and I'm going to ask you lots of questions to make sure you're paying attention. So where do we start with all of this? The very first thing we're going to start with is how to create your marketable LinkedIn profile, okay? So very first thing I want you to do, get out your notebook and write 1 to 7. I'm going to give you the 7 parts of your LinkedIn profile that must be optimized. I don't want you to look at anything else right now. I just want you to focus on these 7 parts. LinkedIn can get really, really, really overwhelming. And by the way, I see lots of yeses in the chat that you guys want to become thought leaders. It can get really overwhelming. I don't want you to focus on all the random things out there, just these 7 parts, okay? So the very first thing that you're going to write, and number 1, is your profile photo. So just a few quick tips when it comes to your profile photo. I want to see your face present and smiling. I want to see you from the elbows up. I don't want a shot of you from far away, okay? Where it's a whole body picture, your face, and that's it, okay? Now, the other thing I'd love to see in your profile photo is a professional outfit or something that relates to your industry. If you're a salesman, a businessman, a saleswoman, a businesswoman, whatever it is, make sure you're wearing your attire, okay, that relates to your industry. Now, notice I'm in a t-shirt that was on a photo shoot, and that's okay because I'm a business owner. I can basically do what I want, right? I'm not looking for a job. But if I was looking for a job, or if I was looking for a new big career opportunity, my profile photo needs to be amazing. Now, here's the thing. You can see on this screen, when your profile photo pops up, it's popping up on your page. It's popping up as you make a post. It's popping up all over on LinkedIn, your messaging, your inbox, all sorts of things. So this needs to be amazing. Now, keep in mind, if you have a professional profile photo, here are the statistics. Chances of your profile getting viewed is 14 times higher, and chances of you receiving more connection requests is 9 times more, okay? So keep that in mind as you're deciding to choose a profile photo. Now, again, if you guys have questions about the photo, pop it into the chat because Catherine will answer that for you. Now, the next thing, number 2, that has to be optimized is your headline. So I'm going to take you guys through a couple of examples here, okay? When it comes to your headline, you need to use keywords that are specific to your industry or keyword phrases, okay? You need to make sure that you're showing people what you really do as it pertains to your industry. So notice again, in this example, my headline's going to pop up all over the place if I make a post, in messaging, in inbox, all over, okay? So make sure you get that squared away. Now, let's go through a couple of examples. So let's say that I just chose senior graphic designer as an example. I could say senior graphic designer, right? Or I could say senior graphic designer at company XYZ. I don't want you to do that, okay? Unless you work for Google, Amazon, Apple, one of the big, amazing tech companies, and people are going to be like, oh, that's awesome that you work for Google. Then, okay, put the company name in. But if you don't, and you don't work for a company that's going to get recognized right away in your industry, what I want you to do is I want you to have your job title, and then I want you to list some key terms after the job title that describe the position. And here's the thing. These key terms have to be in the job posting. So if I'm a senior graphic designer, one way I could say this is senior graphic designer, logo and web design, Adobe Creative Suite, Sketch, HTML5, CSS3, okay? Another way I could say this, which is the second example on the screen here, is senior graphic designer specializing in logo design, web design, and brand strategy, okay? You need to pack it full of keywords because if I'm a recruiter or I'm a hiring manager and I'm going to look for someone that's a senior graphic designer, but I also want that designer to know web design. I also want them to know HTML5. I also want them to know yada, yada, yada. If that's in the headline, you've caught my attention right then, and I'm already like convinced that I want to bring you in for an interview, okay? So that's how fast it can happen for you guys. Just switching those things up can make a difference. Let me show you one more example of the headline. Let's say I'm a director of public relations and marketing, okay? Well, notice here, I can say copywriting, email marketing, SEO, and CRO. If I'm a director of public relations and marketing, I better be sure that the words I'm using, that the hiring officials and the recruiters know what that is, okay? So SEO, we would all know that's search engine optimization, okay? The other way I could do this is I could have like a passion statement, raising visibility and brand awareness, okay? Now, that would be something that I would find in the job posting and I would put that into the headline. So at the bare minimum, you guys, get your headline changed today if it is not optimized. This is going to make the biggest difference. Now, the third part of your LinkedIn profile that needs to be optimized is your about section. Now, I have a whole framework, part of our framework where we are going to talk more about the about section in detail, but here's just a few things to keep in mind. It's one of the most overlooked sections on LinkedIn. It's one of the hardest to write, okay? You're basically trying to tell someone who you are, who you help, and how you help them in less than a certain amount of characters, okay? I think it's 2,600 characters. I don't know the latest number because they're always changing it in your about section. So keep that in mind. We're going to cover the about section in more detail. Now, the next thing that you're going to need to optimize is your experience section. Okay, listen up here. When it comes to your experience section, okay, you're going to have your job title and you're going to have a few statements about what it is that you do, some of your biggest projects and some of your biggest accomplishments. I don't want you to copy and paste from your resume. The reason why I don't want you to do that is because your resume is super, super formal, okay? Your LinkedIn profile, on the other hand, this is an informal way of you communicating to the world about your professional experience. So you can now speak in first person. You can now add a little bit of humor and character and personality. You don't need to have these stuffy sentences, okay? I do want you to use what's on your resume in terms of they need to match, but I don't want you to copy and paste. I want you to look at your resume and say, okay, what do I have here? Now let me form it into a nice, fun paragraph or something where I'm talking to someone in a more personal way in my experience section, okay? Now there's tons of ways you can write the experience section, but the one thing I would love to see you do in your experience section is have results-driven achievement statements. Okay, let me say that again. Write this down if you do not have this yet. Results-driven achievement statements. Give me a yes in the chat if you can do this. Results-driven achievement statements, okay? Or if that makes sense to you, okay? Give me a yes in the chat. So that's kind of your experience section in a nutshell. Now, the next section I want you to evaluate is your education section. If you do not have a formal education, you can include training, you can include certifications, and if you're not getting training or certifications or have no education, get into a class right now that shows that you are staying current in your industry. One of the things we are seeing in interviews right now, a lot of interviewers are asking candidates this question: hey, what are you doing right now that shows your interest in the field? What types of publications do you read? What types of podcasts do you listen to? What types of training do you take part in? Okay. Employers love to see that you're doing some sort of education in some way in the industry. So if you don't have anything to add, start a class right now and put it on there so that they can see that you're in something, okay? Now, the next thing, the sixth part to your optimized LinkedIn profile is your skills section, okay? We could go into skills all day long, and we're not going to. When we do get to the profile reviews, I'll show you guys a couple of examples. When it comes to the skills, I want you to have your top 3 skills at the very top of your profile. LinkedIn lets you add 50. I don't want you to add all 50 because guess what that does? That waters down your profile, okay? That's like, oh, well, I'm a master of all these trades, right? No, we want it to be very, very, very specific to you, okay? So get your top 3 at the very top and then add a couple complementary or supplementary or whatever you want to call it after that, okay? Now, the very final part before we move on to step 2 of this workshop is your recommendations, okay? If you do not have recommendations, I want you to reach out and start asking for recommendations. Now, here's the cool thing. Inside of World Class Career Academy, which is our exclusive career coaching program, I'll tell you more about that at the end, we offer you templates for all of this stuff, okay? Templates for your headline, for your about section, templates for any type of communication you will be doing online with LinkedIn, which I'm going to be sharing a few templates with you today. We also offer a recommendation template. So let's say you need a recommendation from someone. We give you a template that says, hey, John Doe, can you please write me a recommendation, yada, yada, yada. I mean, it sounds a lot better than that. We also give you a template for writing a recommendation for someone else, okay? Because that's the best way to get recommendations is to write one for someone else, okay? Now, my next question for you guys. Of those 7 sections, if you can remember all of them now, which one do you think needs the most work on your profile? Okay. Now I'm going to just throw this out here because I want to make it easy for you. I'll give you the answer if you haven't already done this. It's probably going to be your about section, right? Whenever I ask this question to anyone, they're always like, my about section by far is the one that needs the most work. And by the way, I want you to write about section in the chat anyway, if that's your worst one, or if you have other sections that you need to improve. Here's the thing, that section is the most important besides your headline and your profile photo, okay? After that, it's got to be your about section. So make sure that we're going to focus on that in just a second. So let me see where you guys are. Of course, I'm seeing a lot of abouts. Bianca says headline. Tanji says about. Someone says, I want to optimize for a bank teller. Yes, then you need to include the term that your hiring official is looking for when they look for a bank teller with some keywords behind it. Catherine says about section. Yes, and I see recommendations and content, which we're going to cover content in a second. Yes, awesome. Good, you guys. Okay, let's jump into, let me get to my right slide here. How to write a standout about section, okay? So again, what I mentioned before, this is by far the most important part of your LinkedIn profile besides your headline and your profile photo, how to write your about section. So let me give you guys some key things to think about. Write a list of this as you're taking your notes. It needs to be an easy to read snapshot, okay? It needs to be maybe 2 to 3 paragraphs. It needs to include a career highlight section. I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. It needs to include an expertise section, and it needs to include some sort of call to action, okay? So a easy to read snapshot, 2 to 3 paragraphs, career highlights, expertise, and call to action. Now I'm not done because I also want you to use headers and bullet points, and I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second here. And I also want you to show your character and your personality, okay? So this is where you can list something funny about yourself. You can list your hobby. You can list what it is you like to do for fun, okay? That's all gonna happen in your about section on your LinkedIn profile. So let me give you an example. So we're gonna use digital marketer, okay? This is a paragraph that I would use if I'm a digital marketer, okay? I'm going to start with digital marketing is my passion, okay? Maybe let's use our graphic design example again. Maybe I say graphic design is my passion. Maybe I'm an accountant. Accounting is my passion. Whatever it is, we are going to say whatever it is our passion. And then we're going to go in to say I'm a driven whatever you are, okay? Digital marketing specialist, eager to, and then you're going into how you're solving problems or how you're helping them solve problems, okay? You're going to then talk a little bit more about who you work with and how you work together, okay? So that's going to be paragraph 1. You guys, we have a lot of content to cover. I know this is a lot. We are going to be, you can catch the replay later, but again, take notes on all this, okay? Paragraph number 2, we're going to talk about our experience in that industry. Then notice what we're doing at the very end here. We're saying in my free time, I enjoy horseback riding and epic snow skiing. We're adding character and we're adding personality, and we're turning this more into a conversational piece rather than a stuffy resume, okay? Now, the next thing after your second paragraph is your highlight section. Now, if you've ever attended a resume writing event of mine, you know that in your summary of your resume, I like to see a highlight section if you have more than 7 years of work experience, or if you have more than 5 years of work experience, I want to see some sort of highlight section. The highlight section is going to be your highlight reel, okay? Think of it as greatest accomplishments, biggest projects, most noteworthy things, something that you would want to tell an employer in an interview, any of that good stuff, okay? That's going to go into your about section. And then I would say one of the easiest parts to write in the about section is your expertise section, okay? Your expertise section is going to be just keywords that you're finding on the internet, in the job posting, on the company's website, wherever it is, and you're popping them in to your expertise section. In this example, digital marketing, social media management, copywriting, which I think is spelled wrong, editing, content, yada, 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 right? So you have lots and lots of stuff that you can add into the expertise section that now will pop you to the top of an employer's list when they go to search for someone that does what you do, okay? Type yes if this is making sense to you guys. Give me a big yes in the chat. And while you're typing yes in the chat, I want to show you an example of my LinkedIn about section, okay? So notice I'm sectioning things with different paragraphs. I'm also creating bullet points, which by the way, LinkedIn does not allow you to create bullet points. You have to go out to the internet and type in LinkedIn bullet point or something, and you'll find all these random sites, hundreds of them, where you can like copy and paste a little icon and place it as a bullet point. That's what you have to do in the LinkedIn about section. Hopefully they'll change that too. I think they just don't want people to get super crazy with the formatting of their profile, right? And then notice how I'm creating headers. I'm creating headers or headlines by capitalizing things. Visit me on YouTube, expertise, career highlights, free resources, whatever that is, okay? That's how you're going to create your headers. And then, of course, you're always adding personality and character. Good. Yes, I'm seeing tons of yeses in the chat in terms of, yes, this is making sense. David says, how do you limit all this in an about section to 2 to 3 paragraphs? This is such a good question. So, David, what you need to do is strip out all the extra detail, and you're only going to put in what's relevant for the current opportunity that you want right now. Okay. You're only going to give what's relevant. Then, David, when you go into your interview, then you're going to be able to expand on all of this good stuff, okay? Just like your resume, you can't put everything into your resume, so you're only sharing what's relevant at that point. Scott says, yes, you are making all kinds of sense. Good. So good. Okay, let me give you guys another question because what I want to know, I want to get a little bit more specific about you and what your expertise are. So I showed you an example of an expertise section. Type into the chat, what expertise can you add to your about section, okay? What expertise can you add to make your about section stand out? And it could just, you could list 1, you could list 2 or 3, but list something that you can add to your expertise section in the chat. Okay, while you guys are typing that in, let's move in to our next part to this 5-step system, and that is how to build meaningful relationships and network, okay? Now, this is by far one of the most important tools on LinkedIn, besides, of course, getting your profile optimized. But the next thing that I would love to see you guys focus on is building those relationships. And I'm going to give you key takeaways that you can use right now, okay? This has to be your priority, okay? This has to be your priority, building relationships and making stronger connections on LinkedIn. So I'm going to share with you guys how to do this, okay? So let's talk about this. The very first thing you have to do before you start networking is create a strong profile. So today, I want you to spend a couple minutes on each of those 7 sections on your LinkedIn profile, even if you don't get them all the way optimized, but at least start on it, okay? And if the very, very bare minimum, do your headshot, your headline, and your about section, okay? Then start your networking process, okay? So by far, we need to get the LinkedIn profile squared away. Then what I want you to do is I want you to start nurturing existing relationships. I want you to go to people you know. I want you to go to people in your community, people you worked with, people you went to school with. It doesn't even matter, just people that you've been in contact with in some way. And it doesn't even have to be someone that you've been in contact with in person. It could be someone that you met online or someone that you worked with remotely, whatever that might be. But you're going to nurture existing relationships. Then what I want you to do is start developing new relationships, okay? Find new connections on LinkedIn. These are people in your industry. These are people that do what you do. These are people that do what you want to do. These are thought leaders in your industry. These are CEOs. These are human resource leaders, recruiters. Let's not get to the recruiters yet, but just people in your industry that are working and doing something that you want to do, and thought leaders in your industry, okay? And it could even be parallel industries. It doesn't even have to be necessarily the industry that you're in, but just start creating new connections, okay? Now, let me show you guys how simple this is. Let's say I'm a product manager, okay? I'm going to share a couple screenshots with you. In fact, let me see if you guys can see my whole screen. Okay, good, you can. So, let's say I'm a product manager and I want to go search for other product managers out there in the world, okay? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to LinkedIn, I'm going to type product manager. I'm going to now go and make sure that I just have people selected. I'm going to then go to my all filters, because notice in this example, let me put my glasses on because I can't see what that number is. Okay, in this example, we're like close to 14 million people, right? Well, we want to pare that down because I don't want to be trying to connect with all 14 million of those people. So I'm now going to start filtering by people. I'm going to start filtering by location. I can start filtering by school. I can filter by current company, by industry, by past company. And by the way, you guys, this is with the free LinkedIn account. You don't have to have the premium account if you don't want to, or if it doesn't fit in your budget, okay? So this is the free LinkedIn account. I can filter by all these different things, and I can find people that are doing what I want to do or that are doing what I currently do, and I can reach out and connect with them. And by the way, I'm going to give you a template for that in just a second, okay? Now, the other way to connect with people is by directly going to the company site and searching for people. So this is, and by site, I mean LinkedIn page, the company page. This is me on the Amazon page. I'm just going to go people, and I'm going to look at all the people that work there, and I can filter them or review them by like their titles, and I can start connecting with those people. Okay. So it's pretty simple. This is something you guys should be doing right now today. Now, let me give you guys a connection request template that you can use. Take a screenshot of this if you want. Okay. So I'm going to say something like, hi there, whoever their name is. I noticed that like me, you, and then give something that you guys have in common. Did you go to the same school? Do you work for the same company? Do you like the same stuff? Do you follow the same people or interests or groups or whatever? I also noticed we share some of the same connections. Would you mind if we connect here on LinkedIn? Thanks. And then sign your name. Notice you're not asking for a job. You're not asking, put me in touch with so-and-so. You're not doing any of that. All you're doing right now is connecting, okay? And by the way, inside of the Academy, we also offer a template that once they connect, what are you going to say after that? We call it our follow-up connection request template, okay? So that's inside of the Academy. Okay, everyone got the screenshot in? Hopefully you do. Okay, I'm going to switch to the next slide here. The next thing is to ask for an introduction, okay? So this is, again, one of the best things that you can do in terms of building meaningful relationships on LinkedIn, which, by the way, I have another template to share with you in terms of the introduction template, okay? Now, they've accepted, you're connected, yada, yada, yada. You're gonna say, hey, Bob, I noticed Sally Sue is one of your connections. And maybe Bob's your close friend, your neighbor, a teacher, old boss, an old coworker. It doesn't matter who Bob is, but Bob's just one of your connections. I noticed that Sally Sue is one of your connections on LinkedIn. Would you mind introducing us? I would love to connect with her about a potential position available in her organization. I appreciate your time. Sign your name. Now, the only other thing that would make this better is if you offer to help Bob in some way. Hey, Bob, what can I help you with? Which, by the way, I think we actually adjusted this template in the Academy to include that, like to include something like, hey, how can I help you? Who can I put you in touch with? If there's anything you need, please reach out. You're offering to help them as well. Okay. So again, take a screenshot of this. I'll leave it up here for just a couple seconds. Let's see. Catherine, it looks like we have some good questions coming in. And by the way, anything related to LinkedIn, Catherine will be here to answer those. Carrie, I'm so happy to see you. Carrie says she's one of our career club members on Facebook. She says, if you don't share connections, don't say that. I check it just in case it's spam. Yes, I think I've seen a huge increase in spam on LinkedIn lately. So you have to be really, really, really careful. Just double check all that good stuff as you guys are going in and diving into the platform. Okay, next question for you. Type yes below or in the chat if networking seems doable. Okay, so if you're like, okay, I can take those 2 connection request templates. I understand what I need to do to build these meaningful relationships. Type yes in the chat if networking seems doable. Okay, awesome. While you guys are typing that in, let's talk about how to post engaging content, okay? So this is step 4 to our 5-part system, okay? So posting engaging content, and think about it this way, we want to put you at the forefront of your industry, okay? So did you guys know that only 3 million users share content weekly on LinkedIn, okay? Now, this number can fluctuate from time to time, but that's not a lot if you look at TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. So the opportunity that you have to be recognized as a thought leader on LinkedIn is so much greater than anywhere else on the entire planet, okay? So let's look at some ideas, some things that you can post, okay, that could go viral or can get to your network or that can get in front of your next big opportunity. Inspirational messages, okay? And I'm going to share a couple of examples in a second here. You can also post industry-related news and research, okay? So anytime you find an interesting article, share it or rephrase it and then share the link, whatever, okay? In fact, here's an example of a couple LinkedIn users that I found. This guy, Peter, he just posted an article from Top Tech Predictions for 2022, okay? That was just a simple post he made. It's just an article, and he just gave a little tiny blippet at the top that he thought was interesting. We also have another post here that someone says, super proud to have a terminal recognized by Engineering News Record in their selection of the best projects, okay? So again, this person here is sharing another article, okay? So that's all you have to do, and you actually can just include the link of the article inside your post. Now, another thing that I want you to think about when it comes to becoming a thought leader is longer form article or newsletters, okay? So this is actually a really good way. I work with a lot of senior level professionals who are just like, Heather, I just want to share what I know. Like, I have 20 years of experience and I want to share what I know with the world. Well, guess what? LinkedIn newsletters are the perfect way to do that, okay? So let me show you how easy it is to create a LinkedIn newsletter. Basically, you just type in your headline. You can include a picture if you want, and you just start typing, okay? Now, of course, before you go and publish and all that good stuff, make sure you have someone proofread it. Make sure you double check it, proofread it. Have a friend that knows something about the article or the industry to proofread it for you, and then publish your article, and then go to your newsfeed and share your article to your newsfeed. Have your friends share your article. There's so many amazing ways that you can use LinkedIn to stand out in your industry. Now, another way to stand out is just by sharing simple how-to or educational tips. In fact, let's say you attended a conference. Let's say you listened to a podcast. Let's say you watched a YouTube video. Let's say whatever it might be, you can now go to LinkedIn and you can say, hey, I listened to this amazing podcast. Here are the 6 things that I learned from it. Or here are the 5 things that I learned. Or one of my biggest takeaway was yada, yada, yada. Okay, share that with people. Photo updates. These are things I feel like photo updates for me do the best, and for a lot of my Academy members, where you just take a picture of yourself doing, like, maybe you're in an office and you're like, back to work today, or you're holding a cup, right? And you're like, hey, like those pictures for some reason do the best. But let me show you these two that I posted not recently. I posted these a while ago, but this is when I received my YouTube play button. I don't even know. It's been like a year ago or more. That posted really well. And then I shared this old photo of me. I was an academic dean at the time. I don't even know how many years ago that was. I'm not even going to say it because then you'll know my age. I took that and I talked about when I first started putting myself out there and yada, yada, yada. So again, these posts do really well. Just pictures of you or old pictures of you, okay? The last one here is lessons learned, okay? Now here is, if you guys don't know who John Marty is, he's one of my friends in the career space. He's also in the real estate industry. He actually posted made a post of him where he was trying to get back on the skateboard and went to a skate ramp, okay, and was skateboarding. Well, his post got over almost 30,000 views just from that, and this was a while ago, okay. He also shares posts about where he lives and his son and his family, and those posts get crazy views, and he doesn't even post pictures always, okay? So the thing is you guys can share either things you're learning, things about yourself, pictures of you doing something, any of that good kind of stuff, okay? So question for you. I want to know, what type of content can you post on LinkedIn today? Okay, so of the stuff that I've shared with you, what resonates with you the most where you say, oh yeah, I can totally do that? Let's see. Awesome. Catherine is having some connection requests happening in the chat. I love it. That's awesome. I'm going to see if there's any other questions or anything standing out in here before we move on to step number 5. Good. Okay. So what type of connection or what type of content can you post on LinkedIn? Make sure you guys pop that into the chat. And while you're typing that in, let's move into step number 5. And by the way, we still have LinkedIn profile review, so we're definitely going to get to that. How to get recruiters and hiring managers to come to you. Okay. So I get this a lot. Heather, I reached out. I had an interview. They didn't call me back. I had a great conversation. I thought I was going to get the job, and I just got ghosted. Like, that is the most disheartening, frustrating, overwhelming experience when someone ghosts you. Okay, so let's talk about how to overcome this. Okay, stop getting ghosted. Okay, one of the very first things is, again, build out that strong profile. Okay, if you show up professional on LinkedIn and you're serious about your industry and your job and where you're going, guess what? Other people are going to take you serious too. Okay, so make sure that LinkedIn profile is built out. Okay. Follow up with a purpose. You're not just going to send a message randomly when you're talking to recruiters and hiring managers or employers, whoever it is you're interviewing with. You're going to follow up with a purpose, okay? For example, you're going to thank them for their time, thank them for the interview, remind them about your qualifications and how great you are. So in that follow-up, you're really kind of like doing it with a purpose. Now, here's the thing. Inside of the Academy, we have templates for all of this stuff, okay? So we try and take the heavy lifting out of it, the thinking, the frustration out of it, and we give it to you where all you're doing now is just filling in your information, okay? It's pretty wild how quick it can happen. Be proactive, okay? So I get a lot of job seekers too that 2 weeks have gone by and they haven't heard back, but they didn't even do anything. They didn't follow up the first time. They didn't follow up within 24 hours of an interview. They're not reaching out to people in the company to say, hey, can you go nudge this hiring official? I'm really waiting for this job opportunity. Please remind them of how great I am, whatever. Like, be proactive, okay? You need to show initiative in the entire process. Okay, next thing is engage in the news feed. So I shared with you guys a bunch of ways that you can post content and become a thought leader. Don't be afraid to like and comment and share other people's posts inside the organization that you want to work in, or people that you want to work with, or whatever it might be. If you're showing up online, which, by the way, when I go to these profile reviews today, I'm going to show you where I can see as a recruiter or a hiring manager how much activity you have online, okay? So again, we really want to have you being active on LinkedIn on a regular basis. If it's just once a week to start with, that's fine. Maybe you can bump it up to a couple times a week. That's the goal here. And then don't wait around. Okay, one of the things that I see job seekers do is they're honed in on this one position, and it's like the only opportunity that they have going on. And when that one position does not work out, it can feel so defeating, okay? So the thing I want you to be aware of is you're not just going to wait around for that opportunity to come. You're going to be exploring other options while you are in the job search process, okay? Now, I'm going to share a quick template with you. We have never done this in a live stream before. So take a screenshot. This is one of our newest templates that we added to the Academy. This is the template that you are going to use to reach out to a recruiter or a hiring manager, okay? So take a screenshot of that. I'll give you guys just a couple seconds to do that. And while you're doing that, I want to pinpoint a few things in here where we're talking about the position we applied for. We're talking about how much we love the company. We could even go into detail about some of the things we like about the company, some of the things we like about the position. We're then going to talk more about our skills and how they relate to the position, okay? And then we're going to leave with some sort of end of call to action, okay? Like, hey, let's reach out. Can you I would love to meet with you more to discuss this, whatever. Like, do you need additional information? I'm happy to provide that, okay? So take a screenshot of this. We've never shared it like this before in a live event, but I thought, you know what? This is something, and Catherine will vouch for this. We get questions about this all the time. So here is this template for you guys to use. Change it and experiment with it as you see fit. Now, one more question in the chat. Well, not one more, but I want to know from you, what is your biggest takeaway so far today? So everything that you've learned from this workshop of our 5-step system, what is your biggest takeaway so far today? So type that into the chat. And while you're typing that in, I want you to think about why you're here today. So I heard from a lot of you about this event and why you were coming, but I really want you to think about this. Some of you mentioned that you want the right recruiters and the right companies to reach out to you, okay? Some of you mentioned that you want to attract the right type of employer. Some of you even mentioned that you want to have a profile that shows who you really are, okay? A profile that isn't stuffed with buzzwords and confusing information, right? Some of you even mentioned that putting yourself out there on LinkedIn seems really, really awkward, that it's hard to talk about yourself. It's hard to say, hey, I'm great at this, or here's my accomplishments, or here's my projects. Now, most importantly, a lot of you mentioned that you want a life-changing job offer, that you want to be in a better a job that offers you a better work-life balance, that you want to spend time doing things with people that you love. Now, here's the thing. Everything that I've shared with you guys today these are proven concepts, okay? It's not a good idea, and it's not just theory. Now, I don't have access to like a magic ball or magic tools or resources, but I do have a system that works. So I want to ask you, how would you like the exact trainings, the templates, the resources, the instructions for every single part of your job search process, okay? So I'm talking about your advanced interview techniques and templates, your resume cover letter templates and trainings, your LinkedIn profile tactics and trainings, all the strategies that my clients have used to do things like land job offers making 2 times their income, land multiple job offers at one time, and land job offers at Fortune 500's top 10 companies, okay? Well, I want to invite you guys to join us inside of World Class Career Academy. World Class Career Academy is an exclusive group coaching program, online training system, template library, private community, and peer accountability group. But here's the thing, you guys, more importantly, it's a complete solution to help you negotiate a life-changing job offer with a company that aligns with your career goals and aspirations. So I want to introduce you guys to a couple people. I want to introduce you to Mightily, who is a civil engineer. She landed a new position as a civil engineer in just 2.5 months. So she wrote me and said, Heather, I lost my job in mid-June because the company I worked for merged with another company and they did not continue her position. She says, your courses and classes inside of World Class Career Academy increased my confidence, and I landed another job within 2.5 months working as a civil engineer. Now, here's what Omar said. Omar landed multiple job offers with FANG companies, resulting in a 75% salary increase. Now, if you guys don't know what FANG is, that's Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google, okay? He goes on to say, words cannot describe the immense gratitude I feel for joining World Class Career Academy. He said, after 8 years without interviewing and without a proper resume, he was worried about landing a new job. He says, this was the best investment I have ever made in my career. He says, the coaching, the guidance, the instructions helped me to be fully prepared with all the right tools to apply an interview with confidence. He says, almost every single job application I submitted resulted in an interview. Now, here's the thing that he goes on to say. That he received 2 offers from well-known FANG companies. He says, not only did I accept a great opportunity, but I also increased my income by 75%, you guys. And here's what happened with Daniela. So she actually landed 6 interview requests in 2 days and received 2 job offers. So she says, on Saturday, I applied to 5 different positions. By Monday lunchtime, I had 6 interview requests. 2 she turned down, 4 she interviewed with, and 2 made me job offers, okay? So here's the other thing. Inside the Academy, we have a fantastic resource for you where we have an accepting your job offer and a declining your job offer, okay? We didn't even think to add that when we first developed the program, but what happened is we had so many Academy members that were getting multiple job offers, and they were like, what do I say? I have to decline this other job offer, but I don't want to be mean about it, and I don't want to burn bridges. We're like, oh, let's create templates for that. So we created templates for accepting and declining your job offer, because that's our goal for you, is that you get multiple job offers. Now, let me explain to you guys really quickly what's inside of World Class Career Academy. So we have a step-by-step job search mastery course where you're going to learn how to pinpoint positions that align with your career goals and objectives, okay? So we don't want you out there scouring the internet, applying for jobs all over that don't fit your career strengths, okay? So we're going to help you hone in on what positions you should be applying for, okay? The next course in there is our professional resume writing course. So this is an exclusive course dedicated to helping you build a resume that shows your real value and sells your skills, talents, and abilities, okay? Now, the other thing that we have inside of our resume writing course is we give you examples for different resume scenario. So maybe you're transitioning careers. Maybe you're moving up the corporate ladder. Maybe you have an employment gap. Okay, we include all of that in there so that even any special case scenarios, we got you covered on that one, okay? We also have an advanced job interview mastery course. So this is where you're going to conquer your next job interview with confidence and clarity, with the training and skills to properly sell yourself and land your ultimate job offer. So inside of this course, we cover the most commonly asked interview questions. We cover behavioral-based questions. We cover questions you should be asking. We cover video, phone interview, panel interview. We cover what you should wear, what you shouldn't wear. We cover body language in an interview, because that's a big one. We dive deep into the interview, including your developing your career stories. Now, the other thing inside of World Class Career Academy is our LinkedIn strategy and profile optimization course. So you guys remember at the beginning when I shared with you the 7 areas of your profile that need to be optimized, right? Well, inside of LinkedIn Profile Perfection, I go into detail into each of those 7 sections, okay? We also go into more detail about the newsfeed. I go into detail about the settings and security, keeping your data secure on LinkedIn, all that good back-end stuff as well. So this is definitely a deep dive into LinkedIn. Now, the other thing that we've added into the World Class Career Academy is our template and example vault. Okay, this is over 50 tried and true templates and examples to help you with every part of your job search. So you have your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn, your networking, and your job interview follow-up templates. Now, I have some bonuses to share with you guys. So as an Academy member, you'll also have access to the Career Advancement Toolkit. Now, the Career Advancement Toolkit values at over $3,200, you guys. So this is one-of-a-kind templates, guides, instructions, checklists, everything that you need to keep track of your job search and help you land your job in record time. Now, we've also added another bonus into the Academy, which is our Cover Letter Magic Workshop. This one values at over $297. This is where you learn how to take your cover letter and turn it into a mini sales presentation, okay? Now, a couple more bonuses in here. We have our course with Jeff Sipe, How to Land a Job at Google. He is a former Google, that's a tongue twister. He's a former Google technical recruiter, interview, and negotiation coach. So he did a course for us that's also included inside the Academy. And I noticed this should actually say bonus number 3. And this should say bonus number 4. This is with Holly Lee, How to Land a Job at Amazon. She is our guest expert. She is also an ex-global recruiter and trainer from Amazon, Google, and Facebook. So these two bring in all their knowledge, and we have it into a course for you inside of the Academy. Now, I'm not just going to end there because this is a VIP career coaching program, okay, you guys? So here are your VIP bonuses. The very first VIP bonus, which I have a few, is group coaching and monthly hot seat sessions, okay? So this is with me, Catherine, the team, and other guest experts, which, by the way, our next session is October 20th at 2 p.m. Eastern. This includes lifetime replay access, okay? So you're invited on a Zoom call with me and my team and other guest experts to go through other strategies that we're not sharing out here on the internet, that we're only sharing with Academy members, okay? Plus, we do hot seat sessions, we do deep dive trainings, we talk about your salary, we give you salary negotiation tips, we do all that amazing stuff. That's VIP bonus number 1, okay? Now, we also have VIP bonus number 2, which is 3 months of email support, okay? So this is where you're going to get support and accountability to help you achieve your career goals, again, including salary negotiation strategies. Now, here's the thing, you guys, when it comes down to your salary and when that job offer is coming through, that timeline is so important. We don't want you to draw it out for a week or 2 weeks. We need to be honing in on your job offer and making sure you get that job offer. So we're here for you with email support to help you accomplish that. Now, next VIP bonus is our private course community. So this is where you get to plug into a network of like-minded professionals. You get to ask questions, get feedback, share your wins, and build relationships, okay? And Catherine and I are both in this group to answer your questions about anything career-related. And then VIP bonus number 4, of course, is lifetime access. So this is your ability to complete the course anywhere, anytime. You get access to the coaching Q&A calls. You get access to the replays in case you couldn't join us for a call. And by the way, during our coaching calls, we allow you to pre-submit questions and we'll answer them on the call. And if you couldn't be there for some reason, you can go back and listen to what our answer was to your question. And we'll spend quite a time troubleshooting until we feel like we've answered your question and you have the steps you need to move forward, okay? And then here's the thing, you guys. I always have a fast action bonus, okay? So the first 10 people to enroll in the Academy will receive a career portfolio audit, okay? So this is an in-depth review with step-by-step guidance to help you improve your resume, your cover letter, and your LinkedIn profile. And this is by far one of the most important things, I think, for Academy members because it helps you really see, like, maybe I'm not writing my achievement statements the way I need to. Maybe my wording is a little bit off. Maybe I need to improve my headline or my summary or whatever that might be. We give you guidance on that exact same thing. So the first 10 people to enroll will have access to the career portfolio audit. So let me share with you guys just a few more quick success stories. So I want you to meet Terry, who is a power engineer. So Terry actually landed a fabulous job offer 10 years out of the job market. He says 10 years out of the job search market. He'd been employed, but he just hadn't looked for a new job for 10 years. He says, your guidance helped me polish up my LinkedIn profile, rev up my resume, and helped me ace the interview to get a fabulous job offer for a position that I believe I will really enjoy. And I'm a 57-year-old fossil who is 10 years out of the job search market. Here's what happened with Sue. She actually landed a position in her dream industry and negotiated a higher salary. Now, if you read through all of Sue's information, she actually was switching careers. And here's the thing, if you look at the very bottom part, she says, thank goodness we optimized my LinkedIn profile because that's what got me the interview, okay? So she didn't even do her resume or her cover letter. All she did was she optimized her LinkedIn profile. She got a client service position in the industry of design, which she loves. She said, I got my second interview on Monday and received the verbal offer the next day on Tuesday. I then got the written offer after negotiating a higher salary, okay? So we want that to happen with you guys. So here's the thing. No more guessing or trying to figure out what hiring officials or recruiters are really looking for. It's your time to have a system that works, and it's your time to have a strategy that helps you stand out from all the other candidates and helps you land higher quality job offers. So you're probably wondering, Heather, what's the investment to join this program? Now, here's the thing, you guys, the total value of the coaching, the trainings, the templates, the community, and the resources in this program is worth more than $9,000, okay? But you can join us today for $997. So we normally offer this program at $24.97. The total value is $9,870, but you can join us today for just $997. Now, let me put this into perspective for you really quickly. If you were to take another career program or something else that provides the level of support and accountability and resources that we do, a program is going to cost you anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000, okay? If you were to take a college course, which by the way, I'm a university professor, I've taught hundreds of these courses, it's going to cost you anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000. If you were to hire me as your one-on-one coach, which I do have lots of one-on-one clients that do this, it would cost you anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000, okay? But you can join us inside the Academy today for only $997. Now, I don't want you to miss out and have to pay full price later, okay? This offer to save $1,500 ends on Thursday, October 13th at 11:59 p.m. So make sure you get in and get access to it now. All you need to do is go to heatheraustin.online/academy, be one of the first 10 to enroll, and you'll receive a complimentary career portfolio audit. Catherine will also pop the link for you guys in the chat, and we will also have this same link for you inside of in the description down below. In fact, I'm going to pop it into the chat for you as well. And then I'm also going to pin that at the very top for you so you guys have access to that as well. So let's go ahead and pop that into the pin. So we do offer secure checkout. You can use PayPal, which most people do not offer PayPal, but I have a computer engineering husband that's a wizard that linked us with PayPal. So you'll have the option to use PayPal. I think you even have the option to use Apple Pay or credit card, okay? And you'll go through a secure payment using that. Let me share a couple more success stories with you guys before we get to LinkedIn profile reviews. And by the way, any questions you have, Catherine is here answering your questions, okay, in the chat. And then I will also answer some questions when we get to the end. So here's what Devin wrote. His inbox is full of messages still from recruiters and hiring managers after going through the academy, and he's helping his friends and family members get out of dead-end jobs. So he posted and said, World-Class Career Academy has helped me in so many ways. My resume keeps getting my resume keeps my emails and text messages full of recruiters and hiring managers to reach out to me. He goes on to say, I also have helped family members and friends get out of their dead-end jobs and land positions they want. So he's actually using what he's learned and he's going and sharing it with others. He says, Even the Facebook group consists of supportive members willing to help and support each other. Okay, here's what happened with Scott. He actually increased his base pay by 30% with a 15% annual bonus. Now, here's the thing. Before World Class Career Academy, Scott had been applying for jobs for a few months. He actually goes on to say that he applied for 40 positions with only a few interviews, and those went nowhere. He said, I took a little bit of time off, got my resume, my cover letter, my LinkedIn profile, got all my interview strategy worked out. He said on his first day back into everything, into the job search market, he goes on to say that he applied for 3 positions. He got interviews with 2 of them and ultimately landed a position with the 3rd company. Okay. He goes on to say that his new position is with a tech startup in San Francisco. It's remote, and he was able to get a 30% increase in base pay with a 15% annual bonus. Okay. So he goes on to say at the very end, he says, thank you again for the help you gave me. It really helped me and will make a lasting impact on me and my family. Okay. That's what I want to hear from you guys. That's the type of message that I want to hear from you. So here's what happened with Miranda. She actually developed a solid job search strategy, changed her CV, and started interviewing every week. She ended up getting the job, and she goes on to say, after joining the program, I found it so invaluable. She says, I've interviewed every week until this week. She says, I watch the interview section of the program weekly to help me be succinct in my answers. And she goes on to say that it became her Bible, which I would love this course to become your Bible, okay? In the right way, of course, right? Your career Bible, we should call it that. Here's what happened with David. He actually landed a new position with a with a biotech company fighting to end the pandemic. So before I met David, he says, I have been searching for 13 months for a new position since COVID took my last job. He says, I have to be honest with you. It's been a big struggle. He says, I stopped counting how many times I was ghosted or told that, hey, thanks for applying, but we're going with another candidate, right? So he goes on to say, I'm reaching out to let you know your advice and wisdom have paid off. So he says that the past week when he wrote this message, he received a wonderful new position. He says that he's making more than he thought was possible, all while doing something that he's really good at. And he says, helping others. So he goes on to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I wouldn't be where I am without your assistance. So just to recap you guys really quickly, inside of World Class Career Academy, you get a step-by-step job search mastery course, a professional resume writing course, an advanced job interview mastery course, a LinkedIn strategy and profile optimization course. You also have access to the Career Experts template and example vault. As a bonus, you'll get the Career Advancement Toolkit. You'll receive our Cover Letter Magic workshop where you'll learn how to create your compelling cover letter. You'll also receive an additional course, How to Land a Job at Google with our guest expert, How to Land a Job at Amazon with our guest expert. And of course, we can't forget about our VIP bonuses with our Fast Action bonus, group coaching and monthly hot seat sessions with me and my team and other career experts, 3 months of dedicated email support, a private members-only course community, and lifetime access to the course curriculum and the live Q&A call replays, okay? By the way, you guys, there's a lot of programs that don't offer lifetime access. So if you're like, I can't start right now, or I might not be able to start in another week or 2 weeks, that's totally fine. You can do that. The other thing we have Academy members do is I'll have an Academy member that was a member 2 years ago, and now they're like ready to move on and they're ready for a change. Well, guess what? They get to come back into the Academy. They get to learn all the greatest information that we're sharing, and they also get to join us on Q&A calls. This is not a monthly subscription, you guys. This is not a high-priced program. This is something that's very doable. We also have our Fast Action bonus for a career portfolio audit. Remember, the first 10 people through the door will receive the Fast Action bonus. So all you need to do is go to heatheraustin.online/academy, Click the link that either Catherine or myself shared in the chat. You can also click the link down below in the description. Now, a few more stories before we go into LinkedIn profile reviews, because we get these messages and I just want to share this information with you. So Lynn actually landed her dream job even though it wasn't even posted. She says, I just landed my dream job through referral using your networking tips, okay? She says, surprisingly, this position was not even posted anywhere in Indeed or on LinkedIn, okay? So inside of that networking strategy, we really teach you how to approach your job search without going to the job boards and applying with those online job boards, okay? Here's a message that we recently received from a group member inside of our World Class Career Academy private community. They say, just like to give my sincere thanks to Heather Austin for all of her CV advice. After having looked through and applied her resume techniques, I've applied and successfully received a job offer from my dream job in my industry of choice. I'd like to thank her especially for her worksheet on the most commonly asked interview questions and how to answer them, which, by the way, is inside the Academy. As I think this was invaluable in the lead up to my first interview, okay? So again, this is what we want to hear from you guys. These are the success stories that we want you to have. Stephanie landed an interview and a job offer all on the same day. So she says, just wanted to share this post. I found my new job. They reached out to me, set up another interview with an offer all in the same day. She says, I could not simply refuse. What I love most about her post is she says, Professor Heather's tips. She goes, it all became possible with Professor Heather's tips. A lot of prayer, faith, perseverance, and knowing better was in store for me that I deserve. Here's what happened with Morgan. She actually landed an on-the-spot offer in the aviation industry, which was a field that she wasn't even in, but a field that she was dreaming of. And here's what she says, which I really love at the end of her post. She says, when you feel like giving up, keep pushing through. Take it from someone who went 4 months without so much as an interview, and I've had 5 rushing all in the last week. So this is what happens, you guys, when you start applying the strategies and the techniques that work, okay? It's not magic. It's just a strategy that works, and these people are here to share it with you. Here's what happened with Bernadette. She says, thank you for all the tips you provided inside of World Class Career Academy. I finally got the job I really wanted, and after only a month of being in my current position. She says, I moved up 3 pay grades and I'll be working just 10 minutes away from home. She goes on to talk about the interview process as well. She says it was extremely helpful. She was actually terrified of interviews before the Academy. And then here's what happened with Alex. He says he actually secured a temporary contract, but it turned into a permanent position. He goes on to say, sometimes I think that one just needs to persevere. It may be tough and uncertain, but one needs to believe in himself or herself. This is a happy ending to my job search in 10 months. My advice to all the others, do not give up and keep your network alive. So any Academy member knows that the network is the number one. And then finally, before we get into profile reviews, here's what happened with Lisa, who is a registered nurse. She's actually a registered nurse who found a remote registered nurse position. So she doesn't even have to go into a hospital or go into a clinic. She says, I received and accepted an offer for a new position this past Friday. I'm just thrilled. I applied last Monday and I got the call and offer on Friday. She says, it's totally amazing because although I didn't have my resume finished the way I wanted, she says, I used the unique identifier and the professional core competency section and bolded what I wanted to. So she actually only just updated the top part of her resume. She didn't even finish. She had some stuff, of course, in her work experience, but she didn't update it how she wanted, got her resume sent off, and was able to get a remote position as a registered nurse, you guys. So here's the thing. If you want to see the same success as these folks, make sure you go to heatheraustin.online/academy. Remember, the first 10 people through the door will receive a complimentary career portfolio audit from me and my team. If you guys have any questions at all about the program, the replay, LinkedIn, pop that into the chat because Catherine will be answering those. And it looks like she's answered a lot of the questions. Catherine, if there's any questions you want me to answer live, let me know, and I will pop that in. Or I will answer them live before we get to our reviews. Okay, I'm going to switch screens here. And I would love to know too. I kind of want to see biggest takeaways. I know the chat has been moving super fast. And Catherine's doing such an amazing job. Normally we are on these live streams for 2 hours. And because there's so many questions that come through, but having Catherine in the chat is amazing. Yeah, so Catherine answered a question from Mark a little bit earlier. Mark says, do you cover video interviews? Yes, actually, Mark, inside of the Academy, we also have a module dedicated just to video, phone, and panel interviews. So I like to call these alternative forms of interviewing, right? Even though phone interviews are one of the very first steps that someone will go through when they're going for a new position. But yeah, that's all covered in the Academy as well. Awesome. Good. Okay, so good. Someone asked, does this apply for people who started their own business? Well, it depends on what business you're in. And I would say if you look at my profile, I run a business. So you could go look at mine and do something similar to what I have. Yes, good guys. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to share. I have another screen to share with you guys. Let me pull it over here so I can see it. And we're going to do LinkedIn profile reviews. So let's do this one. Okay, so this first screen, and I'm going to, let me just take my face off, just not that, but my face, just off for a second so you guys can see like the whole entire LinkedIn screen. So this is my profile. And of course I have a banner that's talking about today's event. You guys aren't going to have that. But this is my profile and I may reference it like often here as we're looking at the other profiles, but I have 3 profiles. Let me just tell you, I have 3 profiles to review. We received hundreds of requests for this profile review show, and I wish we could just sit and review all of these. We don't have the time to do that. So what I did is I picked 3 profiles that I thought would probably give most people sort of like a general idea of what they could do to improve their profile. So I do want to hop into that as well. And just let you guys know that we wanted to review all of your profiles, but it was literally impossible. And by the way, it was so hard to choose. So hopefully the folks, I think they are here. Let me get on my glasses too, because this is like one of my favorite things to do. Okay, awesome. Let's go into our first profile. Hopefully you guys can see that. If I need to adjust my screen at all, let me know. I might even just try and do a zoom out just a little bit. Okay. Love this profile. So this is one of the profiles that were submitted for review. And I think how you pronounce your name is Georgie Ann. So Georgie Ann submitted her profile, and there were a couple things that we noticed that we just kind of wanted to address for anyone else that might be doing this. So notice this is what I see. If I'm a hiring manager or I'm a recruiter, this is what I see when I first look at her profile. Now, the one thing, we're going to just address the top part really quickly. I would love to see some sort of background image or cover photo. Now, you could use free resources out there to add something that relates to what it is that you do. But again, that's another opportunity for you to actually show someone some more character and personality. Okay, so I would definitely by far get that up on there. Okay. The other thing right off the bat that I notice is that open to work feature. Now, here's the thing, and Catherine totally agrees with me on this. I don't love the open to work feature. It is fairly new. I don't know. I keep calling it new. I don't know how long LinkedIn's had it, maybe a year, maybe longer. I don't love this because I feel like it's distracting, and I feel like if you have a really strong profile, you don't even need to have that on there. So I would actually take that off totally, and I would spend the time building out your profile. So we'll get to that we'll get to like all that in just a second. And in terms of just like optimizing, okay, if you were to go in and even just go back and review the top 7 areas to optimize in your LinkedIn profile, if you get those optimized, you're you're going to be golden. Your profile is going to be amazing. Okay. So I would just say, let's focus on getting that kind of squared away. Now, as I scroll through, the one thing I want to notice, or I want you guys to notice that Georgianne has 29 connections. We need to build this sucker up, okay? We want to get you to thousands of connections. In fact, Georgianne, if you're listening and you're watching this, I want to get a message from you in like a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks that say, hey, I followed everything that you taught on that LinkedIn workshop. And guess what? I'm now at 1,000 connections or whatever that might be. That's the message that I want to get from you. If you follow what I taught you guys today, that will happen. Okay. So again, let's make sure that we get those connections. Now, in terms of the title, again, this is where we really need to think of, you're a social media manager, right? I want to see some really, really, really good keywords in here that describe what it is that you're doing. What does that mean to be a social media manager? What are some of the tools and the resources that you use? If you guys think back to the example I shared of the senior graphic designer, we added a lot of really amazing keywords in there that described that person. So if I'm looking for a social media manager, I want to have a really juicy headline that really reflects what type of job that you're trying to get into. Okay. So again, keep that in mind as you're creating your headline. Now, as I scroll through, this is what I wanted to show you guys. And let me make sure I'm going to scoot that over that you guys can see this. Is notice it says Georgianne hasn't posted lately. Okay, this is where I want you guys to be active. I want you to comment. I want you to share things. I want you to make your own posts. Even if you take a picture of yourself today, like on your phone, right? And you say, like, I'm going to turn my phone and I'm going to just take a picture, okay, of myself. And I can even take a picture of you guys, right? And I'm going to post this picture on LinkedIn and say, hey, just had the greatest LinkedIn workshop, yada, yada, yada. I want you guys to do something like that, okay? Anything to show that you're active on the platform, okay? So that, again, is going to be the next thing. Now, as we scroll down, we look at the experience section. And by the way, notice it says show all activity. If I'm a recruiter or a hiring manager, I can click on that and I can see all your activity. So again, with that being said, I'm encouraging you to post. I'm also encouraging you to post stuff that's appropriate for LinkedIn. Okay. So keep that in mind. Keep all your listen, people love to see personal stories and yada, 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 but keep all your partying posts and whatnot to those other platforms. Okay. Keep it professional. Now, when we look at the experience section, first of all, I love that she's got some really good positions here. However, does anyone know what she's missing? Type into the chat if you know what she's missing here, okay? I need to see something. I need to see like a statement, an accomplishment, a project you're working on. I need anything that gives me some detail about what you're doing in your current position and what you've done in your previous positions. Now, if we go to, I'm going to pop to my LinkedIn profile again, just to quickly show you. And by the way, I'm looking at my Backend Analytics, okay? So you guys won't see you'll see what you on your profile, but I'm looking at my Backend Analytics. Notice that it's showing that I posted something in the last 7 hours, right? That's what we want to see. We want to see that activity, but more importantly, I wanted to show you guys, I got to go back to her About section. I wanted to show you guys really quickly what your experience section can look like. Okay, notice that I have some paragraphs of information here, right? I definitely need to get that in there for anyone that has their profile, okay? Now, the other thing, and it's so funny, I told you the About section is the most overlooked. I totally skipped that because it wasn't even there. So the About section's not even here. So again, Georgianne and anyone else that is listening, you need to get that About section optimized. Now, if I jump over to my profile really quickly and I show you guys again, I showed a slide on this, which by the way, inside of the Academy, I have a template for you guys to write your entire About section. So it's a template plus it's an example so that you're not like, oh crap, what do I even write in here? Like you basically just follow my template and you'll have your about section written today. So again, we need to have some sort of about section in there. Go back to when I shared the 7 parts of your LinkedIn profile to optimize, because I talked a lot about what needs to be in there as well. Okay. Okay. Customer service, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, I'm a little bit confused too, because you're listing your current job title as you have a location and a company name, but that's not your most recent. So that's confusing me as well. So again, make sure you get that all optimized. Okay, skills. Here we are with the skills, you guys. I could talk about skills all day long. So on the skills section, again, go back to when we talked about that 7 parts of the profile that need to be optimized. On the skills section, you need to include only the skills that are relevant to what it is that you're doing. Now, the other thing I want you to keep in mind is I want you to include skills that aren't super general. Like, for example, and I probably have this on my profile, so I could be doing this wrong as well. I don't want to see leadership. Like, if you're going to tell me leadership, tell me what type of leadership, or combine it with something like leadership and training or sales leadership or whatever that might be, because leadership and like the term management, they're so broad that if I want to endorse you for that, I'm like, well, what? Yeah, this person's a good leader. Like give me a little bit more. So let me give you an example. I'm going to scroll down again on my profile just because it's the best example that I can pick from right now. And notice what I've done is I've started, and I just recently switched these up. Okay. I started putting other things on here like career strategist, resume writing, LinkedIn training. Okay. And I could go to if I show all 30 skills, I have other random things on here like higher education, curriculum design, business strategy, educational technology. Like I have things on there, and I've only kept those on there because I had endorsements for those. But really what I need to be doing is fully focusing on being a career strategy expert, right? If I did that, I'm going to be taking down all those skills so that then when someone goes to endorse me, they're not overwhelmed with like endorsing me for 50 things. They can literally go to my profile and endorse me for the top 3 things that they see on my profile. So what I would recommend to Georgianne is I would say, if you're a social media specialist or manager or whatever it is, find 3 skills that are pivotal to what it is that you do and to getting someone to hire you, and put those here, and then get your connections to endorse you. Okay. The other thing that we're hearing, and I even do this when it comes to hiring, from hiring managers and recruiters, human resource specialists, they love to see if you have lots of endorsements in a certain skill. So I would say spend some time on that. Okay. And then the interests, you have 5 companies that you're following. Make sure you're following the companies that you want to work for. Make sure you're part of groups, like groups online in LinkedIn. That like for example, Georgianne, what I'd recommend for her is I would say, hey, go to LinkedIn and find some good high quality groups that you can start that focus on social media management, that you can start going in and interacting with and sharing information on. Like, we didn't even talk about groups today, you guys. That's like a whole nother topic that could lead you to a big career opportunity. So again, make sure you're focusing on all these areas to really bring your profile together. So hopefully that helps. If you guys found value in that, type yes into the chat. And we have a couple more that we want to go through. Couple more profiles. So we'll get to that in just a second. I'm going to pull that up. I do want to welcome some people into World Class Career Academy. So it looks like Deanna, so happy to have you, Deanna. Hopefully you're logged in and getting access to the program right now. So happy that you could make it into the program. Karen, so happy that you could make it into the program as well. We are so thrilled to serve you guys on your job search journey. It looks like Joelle has enrolled in the academy. So happy to have you. Well, it's probably Joel. I pronounce it as Joelle. I'm always like, I'm like a phonetic reader, right? So I like read it based on what I see. Joel, so happy that you joined us inside of the Academy. It looks like we have Kimberly, who's also joined us inside the Academy. So happy to have you guys in. We are more than thrilled and excited to serve and share all of our amazing knowledge with you guys and help you land that life-changing job offer. Okay, let's jump into our next profile because I know you're here, Jason. I saw you in the chat earlier. Hopefully you are still with us. Again, you guys, if this is helpful for you, type yes in the chat. And Catherine's also answering any questions you guys have about LinkedIn as well. Okay, so Jason, we love that you have a profile photo. Way to go. That's awesome. Or excuse me, a cover photo. A lot of times we see profiles without cover photos. So that was one of the very first things. And it's very colorful too. So I think that's good. Way to go on getting your banner up and going. Now, let's talk a little bit about profile photos. Good. And by the way, I forgot to tell Georgianne too. Beautiful profile photo. I think that's perfect. You're in a work setting, that's fine. But back to Jason, great profile photo. Love that you're wearing a collared shirt. Love that it's a contrast from the background, all that good stuff. Now, here's what we have to address, Jason: customer excellence and team development. Okay, so this doesn't necessarily even tell me what position you're applying for, okay? So what I would love to see you do here is I would love, and I'm just going to throw this out here. You're going to probably, hopefully make it lots better. But what I'm going to throw out here is I would love to see you enter the title and then like your job title, whatever it is that you're looking for, and then say something like specializing in customer excellence and team development. Now, I'm going to say customer excellence and team development with a caveat because I'm only going to say that if that's what the job requires. Does the job posting say customer excellence and team development, okay? Or the industry, like are those industry terms that a recruiter or a hiring manager or an employer will be looking at to find you, okay? So again, give me the title and then give us industry specific keywords to describe or kind of back up that title if that makes sense, okay? Now, Jason does have his about section, which is really, really, really good. And we like with your about section how you are adding personality and you are adding character. So you're like, imagine the possibilities. Everything is connected. And then we have customer service. So you're adding this. What I would love to see is I would love to see you bring it together more in the format that I shared when we talked about the about section. So meaning I like these headlines, but at the same time, I'm almost just more drawn to read the headlines and not even read anything else, which is interesting to me. I would love to see you condense this into like 2 paragraphs of information that where you talk about, for example, let's see, you have, I've always had an excitement for human resources. Okay, so maybe that's the title then. You're going into the human resource department or division or industry, right? And then you say to be specific, the positive impact. You don't even need to say the word to be specific. Okay, just cut that out. We're eliminating any of those fluffy filler words. Okay, the positive impact. Or you could just say, I'm driven to make a positive impact on productivity, developing people in their careers, training managers to be great leaders, and of course, customer service. That would work. I like that, but I just want it to be condensed a little bit more and say, I'm passionate about this. I love the word excitement, by the way. I have a drive to positively impact productivity, yada, yada, yada. Does that make sense? Hopefully you're understanding that. And Jason, if you have any questions about what I'm saying, because you're here live, get it into the chat so I can like interact with you and we can, if you have questions that need clarifying. I would also say too, Jason, what I would love to see here is I would love to see bullet points that are your highlights. Okay. So, for example, like what would you say would be your accomplishments that you're most proud of? What are some projects that you've worked on? Like, I think I saw the word Disney. Okay. Like Disney, like that kind of is lost. Like, give me a bullet point that relates specifically to Disney, okay? Give me some really good, that's going to impress someone, that they're going to be like, oh, this is awesome. Like, yes, let's bring this guy in for an interview, and we don't even know what the rest of his profile says. That's what the idea is let's hook them with that about section. Let's see. Yeah, that's the other thing we were thinking of is just, I know you have core competencies here. I think that's okay. I would almost rather have you list that as expertise. It is essentially core competencies though. So if you guys follow my training, and any of the Academy members will know this, and for all those that are new to the Academy, I will teach you a structure in your resume that you can pull over into your LinkedIn profile, right? So we do have core competencies on the resume. I like to translate that into expertise on LinkedIn. So again, that this is technically your expertise section, but here's the funny thing that I'm really wondering about, Jason, is you're talking about human resource at the top, but you don't have any core competency that says human resources. So if you're going for that type of position, I want that in your expertise section. So again, let me jump over to mine really quickly so you can see what I mean by that. And by the way, you guys, in the Academy, you have an entire example of this. Where's my about section? There it is. This is what I want to see on yours, Jason. Well, everyone's. Notice I have expertise, and I'm leading with executive resume writing, cover letter writing, job search or job interview prep, yada, yada, yada. I want to see that and all in that format on your profile. Because you do talk about it up here, but let's now round that off. And then the other thing too, Jason, is let's include some sort of call to action. You say it's a pleasure to meet you, but let's say something like, hey, let's connect. Like connect, hit the connect button, or reach out, give them your email address right here. Okay. Like do something that makes it really easy for them. Well, right now they don't even know to connect with you. But remind them, hey, let's connect. Or email me, or whatever that might be. Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things too. So Jason, I want to get a message from you too in like a week or 2 weeks that says, Heather, oh my gosh, I grew my following from 848 to 1,272. Okay, like that's what we want to see from you. So to do that, again, you guys, as a quick reminder, you're going to be active on the platform, okay? So go back to the step where we talked about what type of content you should create. And then you're also going to be posting, or connecting with others on the platform. Connect with people you went to school with, people you don't know, recruiters, start using the connection request option on LinkedIn. Personalize those connection requests always. In fact, I shared that template. You guys can go back and actually look at that connection request the template as well. Just to start, that alone will grow your activity. And you commented on a post 1 month ago. So Jason, if I come to your profile tomorrow, I want to see that you've either commented or shared or made your own post. Okay. And I'm going to check. So make sure you do that. Okay, let's look at the experience section really quickly here. Keep in mind, you guys, this logo where Jason works, that if the company creates a company page, you should be able to link their logo. This is just showing me that the company hasn't created a company page. So go to the HR department of that company. And if you are in the HR department, Jason, and you're responsible for the company page, create that company page. If you're not, ask them to create one if they don't already have one. If they do have one, which they should, then get that logo linked up. Does that make sense? See, I think I like this format for your work experience section. The only thing I would love to see here is, and I say this, you can just hit replay this section, this part that I'm about to say, results driven achievement statements. results-driven achievement statements. Those have to be in here, okay? Get those in here. What I'm saying is, what was the result of the things that you've been doing, okay? So let's get that in there. We paint a bigger picture for us on what that looks like. I can see you're probably a really good writer. Like, you're really good with words and showing personality and character. Like, I can already see you're like a fun person, okay? I want to see now, like, some more of those, like, give me some results-driven achievement statements, okay? Yes, that's so awesome. See, for example, you have it here, supported 14 offices and 850 agents to create a company. That's perfect. That's results-driven. Well, that's giving me quantity and quantifying some of your items. Yes, I love that. Education is in here. Okay, good, good, good. Volunteering. That's the other thing too, you guys. Now, I didn't mention that as one of your sections to optimize because I don't want you to get overwhelmed. The 7 sections that I mentioned, I want you to optimize that, but this is a really, really, really good example of the volunteer experience section, okay? So if you have volunteer work, get that on there, but optimize everything else before you add that. Anytime we can see numbers is such a good thing, Jason. So you raised $300,000. That's awesome. I would actually start your sentence with that because it's hidden. I like have to read through the whole thing to even get to that point. Yes. Okay. So this is going to be a huge one for you. I know I talked about leadership and you're now you're guilty of that one. But in your case, I would leave it because it says endorsed by 29 colleagues at Walt Disney World. That's awesome. That's going to be like a huge selling feature of your profile. So you're going to keep that on. I would say though, Jason, if you can get specific with a few more of these. And I do like that you have only 10. I think that's okay. I would maybe expand it a little bit. Microsoft Office, that's okay. But again, I want you to look for more of those like endorsements that are going to be very, very, very specific to what it is that you're doing. And even if you have to have like no endorsements for just a minute until you can start racking up those endorsements, I think that's going to be good. I would keep human resources on there. I don't know. I think all of them are great. They're good because you're endorsed by other colleagues at Walt Disney. So do you guys see what a huge selling feature this is? If I'm a recruiter and I'm a hiring manager and I'm like, oh, dang, like his colleagues like to work with him. Well, guess what? What we look for in good talent is someone that gets along with others, someone that can follow direction, someone that can work well in a team. Well, if I look at Jason's profile, this is telling me that he does that, okay? So that's huge. Good job, Jason. Let me see. I want to just see what else you have on your profile. Okay, good. And you've got some recommendations. That's awesome. If you guys don't have recommendations, start getting those right now. Remember, inside of the Academy, I have a template for requesting one. And then we also have a template for writing one to someone. So that's always an option for you as well. Don't be shy. This is one of I'm like terrible at asking people to recommend me, which we get hundreds of connection requests every day. And by the way, if you've sent me a connection request and I haven't accepted it, I'm sorry, we just don't get through all of them. And I could easily be reaching out and using my same template, which I'm going to make that a challenge for myself. I just don't. But as a job seeker, I want you guys to be doing this. Look at colleagues you worked with. The best recommendations come from managers, your like supervisors, CEOs, people in leadership positions. So think about that. And then interests. I would say, Jason, if you're looking for a specific position at a specific company, make sure you're following that company. And then groups. Awesome. See, Jason's part of a human resource management group. I think that's awesome. I wonder if I'm in that group, Jason. I might not be. But this is a really good example. Let me mention one point, and I know I've talked about this on a live stream before. When it comes to groups, this group has 158,000 members. I would love to see you in a group that has like maybe 5,000 people or maybe 10,000 people, like a smaller group where you're not going to get lost in the shuffle, that you can, when you make a comment and you can interact and connect with people, like things are actually going to be seen and heard. When you get into these larger groups, the thing I worry about is there's so many people that how deep are the connections really getting? But I'm not opposed to groups this size. I'm just saying, like, let's add some other groups that aren't as large. Okay, one more profile to review. And by the way, you guys, remember the first 10 people, it looks like we have a few spots left. The first 10 people to enroll in World Class Career Academy will have the option to, let me see if I can pop this slide up really quickly so you guys can see this. We'll have the option to have a career portfolio audit. Okay, so that's included within the program when you enroll the first 10 people. Again, all the bonuses, all the courses, all the amazing content, the group coaching, all of that is going to be there for you. So again, think about that as I'm going into this next LinkedIn profile. Okay, let me find it. I kind of switched up my screens here a little bit. Okay, this is Megan, and I think Megan may or may not be here. And it's okay if she's not, because we have a replay. So you guys have a 2-day replay that you can catch of this workshop. Remember, take notes, dive in, really work through your profile. I've had people say, I've watched your webinar and I paused the thing. I went and did my profile, then I paused it again, and then I did what you said, and then I paused it again. So do that as well. Whatever you can do to build up your LinkedIn profile, because we want to see you guys as one of these success stories. And I shared quite a few with you today. Okay, Megan, let's jump into Megan. So Megan has a cover photo. I like that. Megan, just make sure, does that relate to you, your position, where you are, all that good stuff, okay? But if it does, it's fantastic. Love the headshot. By the way, you guys, this is an example of a professional headshot. I really like this because when you go and get a photo done somewhere, oh, Megan's here, yay. Type any questions that you have, Megan, as I'm going through your profile. When you get a professional headshot like this, it's a profile. It's like you can use this all over your other social accounts, because let me tell you, hiring officials and recruiters, they actually will go and look you up online. So if they can see a consistent theme that you have the same photo on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and whatever, they kind of like that. So I would say if you have it in your budget, just go to like a local whatever and say, I just need like a couple of headshots, bring like one shirt and then change into another shirt and use that on LinkedIn. And sometimes you can get it done for like $25 or something super cheap, okay? Okay, so Megan, let's talk about your headline, Megan. So we weren't a huge fan of your headline. Now, the reason why is because it doesn't really tell me like what type of position you're going for, okay? And then starting with the word detail-oriented, I'm like, detail-oriented what? Like anyone can say they're detail-oriented, right? Like it really depends on what position you're going into. And if I look at, and I'm just going, we'll talk about your about section in just a second. If I look at, and I know you did tell me a little bit about you, but if I'm just a hiring manager looking for someone that does what you do, I don't even know what you do based on your title. I know that you have customer relationship management, but I don't even know the title you're going for. So this is what I'd love to see you do is put, and I shared across all three profiles that I reviewed today, the exact same information. You need to include the position you're applying for plus keywords and keyword phrases that explain that position. Okay. So again, get that in there. And I would love to know, even if you want to pop in to the chat, Megan, and Catherine and I can even give you some ideas on what that looks like. But again, get that title in there. Connections looks like you're doing really good. So look, you guys, once you're past 500 connections, that will say 500 plus connection. That's a really good sign. Recruiters, hiring managers love to see that. Okay. Now let's look at your about section, Megan. So here we are. It's like one paragraph. What I need to know here is I need to know who you are, who you help, and how you help them. Okay. So if you go back to when I talked about the about section, I want to see 2 paragraphs of really good information talking about what you're passionate about, what drives you, talk about your experience in the industry, and even share some of your interests. So, like this picture, that looks pretty cool. Like it makes me think maybe you're kind of like an artistic person, right? Even your picture, like with your choker. And by the way, like these are things, I'm just telling you guys what recruiters and hiring managers think. They're like, oh, she like has some style, like, which it was why I really like this picture. But like your picture speaks like 1,000 words. So I want to see that now come down into your about section, because right now I don't even know. I'm seeing the words QuickBooks, and then I'm seeing the word graphic design. I'm like, what is this person like into QuickBooks or graphic design? And then I'm seeing the words Microsoft Word and retail. Like I'm confused. I don't even know what position you're looking for. So what we need to do is get really, really, really specific about that title. Okay, here we go. So Megan says she's not 100% sure, and that's okay. We're going to kind of get it looked at. And by the way, you guys, inside the academy, and Megan, this goes for you, we do have a whole entire course on just pinpointing what positions you should even be applying for and which ones you should stay 1,000% away from. Like for example, me, I should never be a nurse. Like the sight of blood, hospitals, I do not want to go into another hospital my entire life. I don't want to see blood. When my kids like fall and the scrapes up the arm, I'm like, ugh! Like it gives me the EBs. Like I could never be a nurse, right? So what we teach you is how to find those positions that you should be doing. Like we want you to be playing into your strengths and doing work that is something that you're good at, okay? And something that you enjoy. So let's take the example though, Megan, you said account manager, okay? So let me even just, well, I don't want to share all the data with everyone, but I would just do a search right now for account manager on LinkedIn, and I would see what comes up, like what types of positions, what people come up, like what are other people using. But here's an example. If I just took what you shared with me today, account manager, and you said, or maybe an underwriter in another industry like insurance. So I would need to see those words in your profile: account manager, underwriter, insurance industry. Like those 3 things would need to be in your profile, and then you're building your profile based on that. But here's the thing, Megan, I can tell, just like I could tell with Jason and Georgianne, that you've got character, that you've got spunk, that you've got personality. I want to see that in there, especially since you have a background in graphic design. Like graphic design and accounting are 2 totally different things. But I still, even if you are going for accounting, that gives you that edge. It's like a graphic design person in accounting. Like how cool is that? Like that's going to be your edge over other people that don't have that skill. So I would love to see that come out more in your about section. So go back to the area where I share how to create the about section, okay? Love that you have some featured areas here. Keep in mind, you guys, featured sections are really, really, really powerful. And all you have to do is if you make a post, you can turn it into a featured, like link, you click on it and LinkedIn will allow you to put it in your featured area. This is just another thing. Notice how LinkedIn is doing this too. The featured area comes even before your work experience. So that's how important they think it is. So get some featured areas in there, okay? Like this is awesome, Megan. I love that. Okay, Megan hasn't posted recently either. Megan, I'm checking your profile tomorrow. I want to see a comment, a like, a share, or even your own post on something by tomorrow, okay? So again, this activity is showing before I even get to your work experience. So again, that shows how important these top sections are on your profile, okay? Okay, this is good. I like how you have, notice you guys, she's got 2 positions here. one's listed and then the other one was before that. I think that's great. I would love to see something about you as a loan coordinator. Okay, this is good. I like this statement. I'm a little bit overwhelmed, Megan, by how much information you have in here. I would love to see you take some of these bullet points, and we got to get that about section really, really, really beefed up here. So you'll notice, like, if I'm looking for you and I want to hire you, I don't even see any of this unless I click on more in that about in your experience section. And some of these are pretty awesome. Like, you need to now just bring those to the top. I do like this though. You could almost leave it at just this one sentence, or excuse me, this one paragraph, and maybe add one more. But most of this, I really want to see at the top. Even the skills, I want to see you turn that skills into, notice what I have on mine. I want to see you turn that into an expertise section, just like I want to see Jason and Georgianne do the same, and anyone else that I'm not looking at your profile, but you're going to do the exact same, okay? Okay, now this is where the real interest comes with your self-employment. Okay, if I remember right, Megan, and I'm just, because I apologize for not remembering all the details, because we received hundreds of profiles to review. If I remember right, I'm thinking you were trying to lean more into like the accounting, underwriting type world and not as much into the artist type world. But I love that you have your self-employment on here. I love that you have your business on here. I love this so much. I want you to expand. I want you to give information. The reason why is because this is what is going to give you the leg up. This is what's going to make you stand out from everyone else, is all that other stuff that you have, okay? And keep that in mind for anyone else that you might be saying, oh, I was once this, but now I'm going into this. Sometimes your past life, right, or your past experience is what really intrigues hiring managers and recruiters. So I would say really like play into that and give us some really good detail on that. And I don't like this skills thing in here. I would say take all the skills out and let's just give me like one really nice, amazing paragraph about each position. And then let's bring up expertise. Let's bring all this stuff up into your expertise section. Even if it is fine art, even if it is mixed media, bring that up. And by the way, you guys, when you're doing your expertise section, what I would love to see you do is list the most important skills first. Okay. And then like for Megan, for example, if you didn't want to focus on your mixed media and your fine art and painting, still keep that in the expertise, but now put that at the end. The other thing, okay, this is another thing I see a lot. A lot of people will start with like Microsoft Word, right? Well, it's like everyone knows Microsoft Word or everyone knows Microsoft Office. Don't make that like the number one skill that you are looking at, like that you want them to see, okay? Like give them the really amazing skills and then back it up with some of those other things. Awesome. Really good. Okay, Megan, I'm going to say this, even though you look beautiful and amazing in your photo, I would say I want to see all the dates. You don't necessarily need to put dates on your degrees. The reason why is because there's age discrimination, and yes, it's real. In fact, I'm like, crap, I got to take the dates off of my LinkedIn profile because people are like, what? You're that old? I don't want to hire you. But it's the thing, you guys. So I would say anything that's 10 to 15 years old, either education you're always going to include. Either don't include it on your resume or your profile, or eliminate the dates. You definitely don't need to have your high school on there. Take that off. It's cool if you're networking with people, but we don't need a high school. The community college, I would say if you've received a degree or something from there, yes, that's fine, but remove the dates. Okay, this is a really good example too, you guys, of LinkedIn's, licenses and certification section. So anything you have here, notice she's added a LinkedIn offers a course, which, by the way, if you guys do have LinkedIn Premium, you can use their courses. And once you complete them, they'll ask you, hey, do you want us to display this on your profile? You can do that if it relates to the industry. I think that's an okay thing to do. But notice, if you don't have any formal education, start with licenses and certifications, anything like that, to really support who it is that you are and what it is that you want to do. Okay, so here's the interesting thing with Megan. So you actually had popped in earlier things about underwriting and maybe accounting and that kind of stuff. That's not at all in your, well, you do have mortgage lending. I guess that kind of relates a little bit, sort of. You're dealing with numbers. I would say, Megan, let's strip down your skills to like the top 20 that you really want to be endorsed for. If you have other skills that you're not endorsed for right now, I would say take those off. I'm just trying to see. Unless they relate, for example, like, I don't know how much you want to emphasize QuickBooks. But like, for example, oh geez, I'm just trying to see. Like, for example, you have these at the end: team management, employee training, regulatory compliance, USDA rural housing. If none of this relates to what it is that you want to do or where you want to go, I would remove all of those. And I would just focus on like the top 20 and, more importantly, the top 3 and getting endorsements for those, but make sure they relate to the industry or the area that you're going into. Recommendations are good. That's awesome. We love to see those. Again, I would spend a couple minutes trying to get more of those in there, especially from like, notice this person managed you directly, managers, supervisors, colleagues, teachers, anything like that. Good. And then you have interests. I love Brene Brown. She's awesome. Companies, groups, schools. Again, companies that you want to work for, make sure you're following them. She doesn't have a volunteer experience here, but don't think you have to go out and start volunteering just to get that experience on here. You have some amazing content and amazing things to pull from. All you need to do, Megan, is just build out those 7 sections, and you'll be good to go. So hopefully we got your questions answered. Looks like we have some amazing people in the chat. Catherine's doing an amazing job answering the questions, you guys. Normally we're here for quite a while answering questions. Remember, again, the first 10 people to enroll in the Academy will receive our fast action bonus. That is a LinkedIn profile review, similar to what I have done here, but a little bit more detail. And it's a recording that you get to keep and listen to, a cover letter review, and a resume review. So we put all those together, and we call those like I call that your career portfolio. So again, make sure, if you are interested in the Academy and you want to join us for that, be one of the first 10. If you're not one of the first 10, the program is amazing. All of those individuals that I shared with you today, they're all amazing and used all the resources inside the Academy. I have a link I want to share with all of you guys that are here today. If I can get to it really, really quickly. Let me remember the link. This is a very, very, very special thing. And I promised I was going to do this to only the people that stuck around until the very, very, very end, because I know this is a lot of information. Let me just see if I can get to this page really quick, you guys, and then I'm going to pop the link into the chat. If you have questions, again, make sure you pop those in. I want to share a special offer for those that are here today that stayed around all the way until the very end. Let me grab it. I should have had it ready. It is a special link to our career advancement toolkit. If you guys do not have this and you are on the fence with the toolkit, the academy, of course, I'm always going to tell you to head into the academy because it's by far one of our best programs. You're going to get the most support possible from the academy. But I understand that sometimes that just does not work for people and the price point's a little bit high. So I have a very special offer. I'm going to pop this into the chat. You guys, I've never done this on a live stream when I'm offering the academy, but I'm going to share with you guys a special offer for our toolkit. It's only available until today. This page will expire by the end of the day. If you at least you need something to get you started, this is going to be your next best option. But again, I'm going to recommend the Academy hands down, just because of the one-on-one attention that you get. The resources are plentiful. You will not land a job going into the academy. Like, it's one of those things where it's one of our most amazing resources. But I understand if it does not work for you. We do also offer a payment plan for the academy if you're interested in that. If you go to the link that Catherine and I both shared, go to heatheraustin.online/academy. You can look at that. But again, if that's not an option, I'm going to share this with you guys. I'm going to replace the pinned message at the very top. This is just a webinar only offer. We've never done this before, but for those that are here today, if you're interested in just a slight something that you can take away and use today, I highly recommend this. So it only lasts until today. By the way, at the end of the day, this page expires, okay? Awesome. Anyone that's still here, would love to hear your biggest takeaway. Feel free to pop that into the chat. It was a pleasure to review those profiles. Oh my gosh, we covered a lot today. Remember, you guys, the replay is only available until Thursday for this workshop. So if you need to go back, review all the stuff, put it all into practice, then definitely do that. Awesome. Miss Flower says, I will have to watch it again and again. Yep, definitely do it. It will be gone by Thursday, so make sure you pop that in. Rose Angela, I'm so happy to see you here. Good job, you guys. Awesome. Thanks, Angela. So happy to see you too. Anthony, glad to see you. Sally Joe, thanks. Sally says, thank you, Heather. I've learned a lot and I'm looking forward to updating my profile. By the way, you guys, if you make a post on LinkedIn or if you make some change to your profile, make sure you send me a message on LinkedIn, because I want to see all the good stuff that you're doing. And for those profiles that are reviewed, I'm going to be making sure that you guys have made some sort of interaction in the newsfeed in the next day or so. So, okay, you guys, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm so excited for all the amazing people that are joining us in the Academy. If you have any questions at all after this live stream ends, pop them into the comments box down below. Feel free to email me at heather@professoroustin.com, and my team and I will be here for you to help you guys answer questions and land that life-changing job offer. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll be in touch.